It was 2:13 a.m. when Emily Carter's phone lit up in the darkness of her small apartment. The caller ID said, "Your future." She froze. The air in her bedroom seemed heavier, her heartbeat louder. She had never seen anything like that on her phone before. Her thumb trembled over the green button. When she finally answered, a deep male voice whispered, "Don't go to the bakery tomorrow, or your life will never be the same." And then, click. No number. No trace of the call. Emily sat up, clutching her blanket. She worked at Greenfield Bakery, the one place in her life that felt safe. But now, this strange warning crawled into her thoughts, sinking its claws in. Who was that man? And how did he know her name? She didn't know that by the end of the next day, she would be face to face with a man holding a photograph of her, as a little girl, standing next to a stranger she didn't remember. Emily's life had always been simple: small town, small paycheck, small circle of friends. She was the kind of person people forgot in a crowd. But this morning, she couldn't stop scanning the street on her walk to work, every stranger suddenly suspicious. The bakery smelled like fresh cinnamon rolls and warm bread, but Emily felt cold inside. She kept glancing at the door, almost hoping, and dreading, that the man from the call would appear. At 9:47 a.m., he did. A tall man in a weathered leather jacket stepped inside, carrying a folded piece of paper. His eyes locked on her like he had been searching for years. He didn't order anything. Didn't look at the menu. He walked straight up to the counter and said, "You've grown." Emily's breath caught. He unfolded the paper. It was a photo of a 5-year-old girl with the same hazel eyes as hers. In the photo, she was holding a balloon, and standing next to him. But she didn't remember him. At all. "Who are you?" Emily asked, her voice sharper than she intended. "Someone who promised your mother I'd protect you," he said. "But I failed." She stared at him, a storm of confusion in her chest. Her mother had died when she was 7. Or at least, that's what her aunt had told her. The man leaned in, lowering his voice. "They told you she's dead because it was safer for you to believe it. But she's alive, Emily. And she's in trouble." The room seemed to tilt. The smell of sugar and bread suddenly felt nauseating. She wanted to shout at him, to tell him this was cruel, but something in his eyes made her stop. There was pain there. And guilt. That night, she couldn't sleep. She replayed every memory she had of her mother, the warm hugs, the lullabies, and now, the possibility that they had been stolen from her, not lost. The next day, the man came again. This time, he had something else, an envelope with her name written in her mother's handwriting. Inside was a note. "Emily, if you're reading this, it means they've found you. Don't trust anyone, not even him. But follow him if you want to find me." Emily's hands shook as she read it. Her mind screamed that this was a trap. But her heart was already running ahead, desperate to see her mother. They left that night in his old pickup truck, the road stretching endlessly under a moon that seemed too bright. He introduced himself as Daniel Hayes, a former private investigator who had once worked for her mother. As they drove through back roads, Emily noticed something in the glove compartment, a badge, but not a police one. It was stamped with 3 letters, FIA. "Federal Intelligence Agency?" she asked, her voice tight. Daniel didn't answer. That's when the headlights appeared behind them, too close, too fast. What followed was a blur of screeching tires, shattered glass, and a desperate escape into the woods. They hid behind a fallen tree, breathless. Daniel finally confessed, "Your mother, she was a whistleblower. She exposed something huge. And the people she crossed, they've been looking for her, and you. For years." Emily's world shifted again. The quiet life she thought was hers was nothing but a shield. And now that shield was gone. 2 days later, they reached a cabin deep in the mountains. Emily's heart pounded as Daniel knocked. The door creaked open, and there she was. Her mother. Older, thinner, but unmistakably her. The reunion was tearful, but brief. They didn't have time, the people chasing them were close. Emily didn't realize that before the night ended, she would be the one to make the decision that would change all of their lives, and it wouldn't be to run. The air inside the room felt heavier now. Emma's mind was a storm of questions. Who was this man, really? Why did he seem so sure of her father's guilt? And why had he waited all these years to find her? Miles sat in silence for a long moment, his weathered fingers tracing the rim of his coffee mug. His eyes, tired, almost haunted, refused to meet hers. "You think I came here to hurt you," he finally said, his voice low. "But I'm here because I couldn't keep this to myself any longer. You deserve to know what happened the night your father disappeared." Emma swallowed hard. Her father's disappearance was the one wound that had never healed. No body had ever been found, no grave to visit. Just a lingering emptiness and whispers of rumors she had tried to ignore for years. Miles leaned forward. "I was there that night," he said. "And your father saved my life. But the price he paid for it, that's what's been buried." Emma's breath caught. This wasn't what she had expected. "What do you mean?" she asked, almost afraid of the answer. Miles looked toward the rain-smeared window, his voice shaking. "There was a deal, one that went wrong. A man was going to die, and I was that man. Your father, he stepped in. He took my place. And when the night was over, I walked away alive. He didn't." Emma's heart raced. It didn't make sense. If Miles had lived because of her father, then why had the world been told her father had stolen money and vanished? "That's what they wanted people to believe," Miles said, answering the question she hadn't voiced aloud. "Someone needed a scapegoat. And your father, the man who had the courage to stand in the way, was perfect for it." Emma's hands trembled. "Who?" Miles' eyes darkened. "The man who still runs this town. The one no one dares to cross. And tonight, he's going to be here." A sudden crash of thunder shook the small diner, and for a second, the lights flickered. Emma stared at Miles, her pulse pounding in her ears. This was no longer just about the past. This was about a truth so dangerous, it could destroy them both if spoken aloud. And yet, in that moment, she knew she couldn't walk away. Because the man Miles was talking about, was the same man who had been funding her community center for years. The same man who had sent flowers every Christmas. The same man she had always trusted. The betrayal cut deeper than anything she had imagined. Miles leaned in so close she could see the lines around his eyes. "If you want the truth, you'll have to follow me tonight. But if you do, you'll never see the world the same way again."